Greetings, everyone, and welcome to a very limited series called Chavrusah with the Rosh Yeshiva. I just got into my head that there's just one sugya that I just want to learn with you people out there in cyberspace as Chavrusahs, not as a Magid Shir, not as a Rosh Yeshiva giving a Shiur Klali, but as my Chavrusah, where we take it from scratch to wherever the research leads us. And if you have the patience for it, it is the best way to get my derech and learning, as opposed to me giving you a packaged shear to find just the final product here. You see how it's baked from scratch? Yeah, it's going to be frustrating. So that we'll come to an idea and then decide it has to be revised because of something we figure out later or we encounter later. So it has to be totally trashed. Now, to your average Rosh Yeshiva who's good at this process is a 12-hour process or so, where, and he goes through the steps rapidly. For us, it's going to be a little bit more than 12 hours. But you'll see the step by step, as opposed to you only generally see the finished product. I've decided to learn with you guys the sugya of gram ratzich, all types of, forms of murder that are seemingly done through secondary and creative ways. Which ones get the death penalty? Which ones don't get the death penalty? Well, we're going to learn very quickly. Don't let me hate to spoil it for you, but there is no way to kill a person that does not get at least death in the hands of the heavenly court. The only question is whether you will walk from penalty from the hands of the earthly court, right? Because murder won by direct causation is what's punishable with the death penalty. But any type of secondary cause, like even hiring a hitman, gets misa b'dei shamayim. That's a special halacha. Let alone if you do it with your own hands in a grumma way, as we're going to learn, it's misa b'dei shamayim. But it's an amazing chiddush in Ritzicha that it's as if there is shliach l'dvar avera, that of course the murderer, the assassin that you paid, gets the death penalty if he's incriminated and implicated. But even you, for having hired him, also get misa b'dei shamayim. There's no mutter way to kill someone. It would have been done already, right? If there would be there's no mutter way. But the question is, when do you walk from the death penalty and it's left up to the heavenly court? And when not. And I'm learning it on equal footing with all you guys. Every day I'm coming to the sources cold, right? And we learn together and see where it goes. And like I say, if you have the patience for this long way around, it is the best way to get a derech and learning. Okay, I have posted on the screen the daf that we're doing. You can just click on that link and see it on Hebrew Books. It'll pop up. It's the sugya starts in Sanhedrin daf Ayin Vav and Beis, and also no reason why it's going to take days, multiple days and weeks, is because also to not tax your patience and to ensure that there'll be continuity. We're going to try to keep it limited to 20 minutes at a shot. 20 minutes, trying not to exceed a half an hour. I know I always say that, but this time we'll really try to do it. And today we're just getting started, just the Mishnah with Rashi, and let's see where it goes, okay? All right, and I will endeavor that whatever I read inside, I'll give you a link so you could follow along on your screen, okay? Without further ado, just have to open the same page I sent you guys. Here it is. Right. All right, we're in the Mishnah. Ve'elu ne'erogin. These people get the death penalty of hereg, which is the penalty for murder, and irani dachas also. I should explain. Generally, the conventional punishment for avodah zara is skila, right? But there's a special halacha in the big chiddush that irani dachas, that most of the town served avodah zara, and of course they have to be their din is only in the hands of the Beis Din HaGadol, if I recall correctly. When they get the psak that they're a ir anidachas, they are killed out by the sword, right? Same as they get the same as what penalty as a murderer. These ones who get the death by the sword, harotzech, someone who murdered, right? And the people of the ir anidachas that the town was incriminated, most of them, with it's a lot of criteria. But when they are incriminated and get a din of an ir anidachas, they're all killed out by the sword. Right? So these are the two types of people that get hereg. So now we're going now into the laws of ritzicha, the laws of murder. Rotzeach, shikas reu bevin oba barzel, a murderer that hit his fellow Jew with a stone or with a piece of metal. And we're going to get into that in the Gemara. Or he held him in the water. He held him in the water. Or he held him in the fire. And the person was really unable to extricate himself either from the water or from the fire. And the person died as a result. Chayav. He will be chayav herek. He'll be chayav the death penalty in the hands of Beis Din. All right, if he pushed him into the water, or into the fire, and he could get out of there, and he died, Potter, he will not get the death penalty from Beis Din because the guy could have saved himself, and he just didn't. Shisa Boskav, if he sicked the dog on him, Shisa Bosna, so he sicked the snake on him, Potter, right? He is potter from the death penalty. Again, like we said before, that doesn't mean they won't get death at the hands of the heavenly court of Beis Din Shomala, but it is called secondary cause that the earthly court will not punish him. If he sicks an animal, be it a dog, be it a snake. Right? Right, but that's sicking, that's like to provoke, and say sick him. Right? Say a code word that causes the animal to strike. Right? But let's say he caused the snake to actually bite the person, right? Like he touched the fangs onto the skin of the person. Like Moshe, put the snake's mouth on the guy's hand as an example. On that, Rabbi Yehuda says he's chayiv the death penalty. It's called direct cause. And Chachamim say, no, he will walk, the earthly court cannot give him the death penalty. Okay? That's the Mishnah. Let's see Rashi. And, like I said, I'm coming in cold. Kamash. So, he held him under the water, held water. So, Premier Balaz, right? It's called Premier. So, the Laze Rashi that's at the bottom right of the page, where they translate these old French words, dochak, it's like to force, right? Right, dochak, it's like push, force. Okay, it's Rosh Chavero, he's holding the head of his friend, v'tokfo b'mayim, and he forces him in the water, kadei shloichol learn Rosho in a manner that he cannot pick up his head for air, obviously. V'nin ar v'mes, and he is, v'nin the term ninar means he's shaken up and he dies. Where we find this term in the Chumash, earliest time that I know, by Anar Hashem es Mitzrayim, by Kriyas Hashem, stirred up the Mitzrayim by Kriyas Yamsov. Rashi says over there, Rashi stirred them up like stirring a pot. They came up, they came down, up, down, up, down, up, down, right? Like smashing them against the water. Like it's ninar, also the modern Hebrew means to shake something up, right? Like ninar meshenasa, we find that term. He was shaken from his sleep because you shake the guy to wake him up. So now here's the thing. So that's what ninar means. He's shaken up and he dies. Seemingly, the word vininar is superfluous and misleading. All right. Now, again, I'm saying this not having looked up any Mefarshim. right? Not having contrasted yet with any other Rishonim. Like everything until that point makes perfect sense, right? He holds the head of his friend and forces him in the water, right? So he should not be able to pick up his head. V'ninar v'mes, right? And he is shaken up and dies. What does the shaken have to do with it? Now, I understand the first part of Rashi. Rashi is definitely clearly coming to say, I have the guy in a head grip, and it's only because of me that the guy cannot pick up his head. So, give an example. The guy took a dive, and now he wants to come fair, and I just hold my hand so his head can't go up. But he could go around my hand this way, go around my hand that way, go swim in front of me. He just doesn't. And he dies, right? So obviously, even though, you could say that I held his head under the water, but he could escape, right? And Rashi is doubling down on he can't escape. I'm holding his head and forcing him underwater. So he should not be able to raise up his head. That's clearly what Rashi is going on, to make it very clear that if I just block the guy from coming out of the water, but he could swim around my block, right? I'm not chayiv. It has to be that I am holding his head in a manner that he just cannot pick up his head, right? And now there's still what to analyze over here, but I just don't understand what the term v'ninar is. And he got shaken up and died. What does it care shaken up? Like, is Rashi saying, well, like in that pasuk, it sounds like, well, he picked his head up, I pushed it back down. He picked it up. That's pashut. That's not even a question. That's no different than actually pushing him in the water and he directly drowned. So the shaking is something which is a mystery to me, right? I would say if we take out the word v'ninar, shook up, it makes perfect sense. He has the guy in a head grip, in a manner, and the head grip is what's keeping him under the water, right? And he died. What do you need v'ninar, right? It's a question for everyone to think about, myself included, till we meet again, next time I record our next session. Right? So we have that one question. What's v'ninar? Right? Hold that question. Right? We also have to say we get the gist. He's in a headlock and he holds him in water so he cannot pick up his head. Is there anything we could pull out of all those words? Or it's just a simple statement, headlock, so as because of me, there's no way he could escape. Or is there anything else we could be medayik there? But our main question is, what is v'ninar? Okay. Shisa, he sicks the dog gira. That's like incite the dog, to go in. Hishich, but as opposed to where we have the machlokas, Rebuta Chacham, because everyone agrees that if you sick, you have a trained snake, and you say, strike him, right? And the snake is trained and it strikes. That's called secondary cause that, the earthly court cannot give you the penalty of hereg, right? But where we have a machlokas, Rebuta and Chacham is Hishich, that you cause the snake to bite the guy. Shachas anachash biyado, you actually hold the snake with your hand. Volicho, and you bring the snake. Vigia shine anachash biyado shochaber, and you actually cause contact. You have the teeth of the snake reach, the hand of your friend. Put the Rebuta Rabbanan first one. Now, what is the machlokas? Why the Rebuta would say your chayv, why the Rabbanan say your potter, will be explained in the Gemara. So we're not going to spoil the fun. We're not going to spoil the surprise. Okay. So now I'm just taking a look. Again, I'm on equal footing as all of you, and I am just looking at Rashi. There's like another Rashi. The big advantage of this edition is that he brings the other Rashis, the Musaf Rashi. Right. So, and for today, we're going to rely on the Musaf Rashi that the printer fully copied over, what's written elsewhere. So look what's written over here. Take a look. The Kavash Olav, right, and he he's like restraining upon him. Shetakfo sham ad shemes, right? He like forces him there. He forces him there until he dies. Doesn't say veninar, right? Right. Doesn't say that word veninar. That's really confusing me. So it seems that Baba Kama left it out. All right. So maybe we'll take a look at some Baba Kama Daf Chav Zayin, and maybe let's take a look whether whether the Musaf Rashi accurately copied, or whether that Kamashlav is going on a different case. It's just the same words. We're gonna have to take a look. Okay. Hishach Boaz Hanachash in the Musaf Rashi. See what Rashi says about this elsewhere. Shnoto es Hanachash biyado v'gia piv liyad chaver. He took the Nachash by hand, like the snake by hand, and he reached the mouth of the snake to the hand of his friend. Achen nichnasol etocho, until the hand went into the mouth. V'nashcho, and the snake bit him. V'meis, and he died. So Rabbi Yehuda says, you're chayev, misa, you're chayev, the death penalty. It's called direct causation of murder, according to Rabbi Yehuda. The Rabban disagree. So now let's contrast this. Again, maybe we should look up the original source that's being cited. It's actually an earlier Gemara. I meant in Baba Kama also, an earlier Gemara in Baba Kama than the one that seemingly it's talking about the exact same case. It's on Baba Kama Chav Kimon Beis. So he took the Nachash by hand and put his mouth on the hand of his friend until the mouth entered the hand entered the mouth of the snake. Well, and then the snake bit him and he died. Contrast with what Rashi wrote over here. Right? Hishach, going back to Rashi by us. He took the Nachash by hand. Okay, so far the same, right? And he walked him over. Okay. Seemingly superfluous. Seemingly superfluous. Right? Because then the next it continues a vigia, and he reached Shine Nachash, the very teeth of the snake, Biyaro Shochaber, in the hand of his friend. You hear that? So the volicho, there's seemingly superfluous, he walked it over, which Rashi leaves out in Baba Kama. See, that's a superfluous word, unless someone could tell me what could be learned from it. But listen to this. By us, it says, the way Rashi explains by us, he actually even stuck the teeth into the flesh, right? Made teeth contact, right? Between the snake's teeth and the guy's hand. That's not what he says in Baba Kama. He says he just put the hand in the mouth and then the snake bit him. It sounds like that we have a contradiction in Rashi. Right? It's not just that over here there's, Rashi leaves out certain words that we have extra words here, as we see, in both the Rashis that we're a little bit baffled by, right? Over there, vininar. We don't know what he doesn't say it in Baba Kama, and simply the word just doesn't help understand anything. So was it the guy splashing around? He doesn't say in Baba Kama. And also over here, the extra word volicha, and he walked the snake over, also seemingly totally superfluous. The main thing is vigia, and he reached, But now it is not an issue of that we have extra words in Rashi by us that we don't have in Baba Kama. Here we have already a contradiction, or something that could sound like a contradiction, right? In Baba Kama, he says he just put the guy's hand in the snake's mouth, and then the snake bit him. Hey, of course that's grumma. Because all I did was, bring him close, but it was the snake's action that bit him. Rashi by us is saying a bigger chiddush, right? We even put the teeth of the snake and put in direct contact with the skin. That the way Rashi says it over here, I might think that maybe even the Rabbanan would be motive to Rabbi Yehuda, that this is already first degree. You're using the snake's teeth. It's like direct contact, like sticking a sword into him. Even though generally just a snake bite per se is not lethal. By a snake it is, right? Rashi is saying a much bigger chiddush by us in explaining why the Rabbanan would still pater, that even though you stuck the teeth, you made contact between teeth and flesh, still pater. Whereas the way Rashi explains it in Baba Kama is a much smaller chiddush, and really the ball is in Rav Yehuda's court. The ball's in Rav Yehuda's court. The way Rashi explains it in Baba Kama, right, that you just put the mouth in the hand in the mouth of the snake, then over there it's hard to understand Rav Yehuda. Why should he give him the death penalty? It's obviously a secondary cause. The primary cause is that the snake decided to bite. So the way Rashi writes it in Baba Kama, Rav Yehuda is the one that needs explaining. The way he writes it by us, it's the Rabbanan that needs explaining, right? Why is he put the teeth in there and you still putter? Right? All right, this is all stuff to think about. I have to run to Mincha, all right? But this is just our first session. And like I said, I came into this cold, right? And, you guys could prepare ahead, but I'm going to be a good boy and I'm not going to prepare. I'm not going to cheat because I promise to give you the experience of learning with me as I am learning. I'm not coming pre-prepared, but you guys could do whatever you want. Kol Tov, good start. All right, let's just do